Hello one and all, this is Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, once again with another video game first impressions. This time around, Shin Megami Tensei III Nocturne HD Remaster for the PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Taking control of a player named protagonist, you are thrown into the Vortex world, where demons exist, souls have been overtaken, and you're allowed to fight a plethora of enemies alongside said demons. Now there's a lot more to Nocturne than what I just stated in terms of a narrative, but I don't want to spoil too much, especially for those who've never played this game before. And for gamers who have played the Persona games, which is a spin-off of the mainline SMT games, this will be a very different experience than playing a Persona game. From the onset, you're giving two difficulty options, though you can download the merciful difficulty, which is pretty much very easy, and a way just to see throughout the entire story without really stressing yourself on the fundamentals of the overall gameplay. But if you want to really have a satisfying experience when it comes to Nocturne, play it on normal on your first playthrough. One thing you will notice almost immediately when you start playing is the fact that there is no party system in the same way as a Persona game. You only have one quote-unquote human character, with the rest of your teammates being demons, or in the case of Persona games, Persona themselves. The demons that you battle have the ability to become a part of your party, depending on circumstances like just going into a certain area and encountering a demon, or even demons in mid-battle requesting things like a life stone. And once given, you're actually able to recruit that demon to be a part of your team. You can summon that demon in mid-battle, and next thing you know, you have a full party of demons that are ready to fight alongside you. Very similar to, say, Pokemon. As you progress with your experience points, the demons gain new abilities, and then even at times evolve, such as a pixie evolving into a high pixie. Another interesting aspect when it comes to growth is the main character's evolution himself, as the player is able to actually level up and gain points that they can dictate goes into a certain area, such as strength or vitality or magic or luck. Once you dictate where these points go, they can't be changed, but they are also attached to another thing called the Magatama. Now, Magatamas are these items that can be quote-unquote ingested, and depending on the Magatama, the player is gifted certain base stats and also an ability. So if you say have a more physically based Magatama, then you will have more strength than magic. But if you have a more magic-based Magatama, you will have to sacrifice the strength that you've had with that original Magatama to have more magic ability. And in turn, you may get a spell that will be beneficial to you in the next battle that you wouldn't have if you kept that other Magatama equipped. Now, you only can have one Magatama equipped at a time, so you have to pick and choose what's best for the scenario that you're in. And unfortunately, trial and error is going to be detrimental to a playthrough. While other developers have implemented more player-friendly additions such as being able to speed up battles or even add infinite health cheats to, say, the original Final Fantasy VII, Nocturne's HD Remaster has none of those things, right down to the inability to save anywhere that you want permanently. There is a suspend slot, which is pretty much a temporary save, utilized for, say, if you're running out of time and you just have to stop the game right then and there. But once you reload the game and utilize that suspend save, it's gone, and you're stuck with the idea of, I have not gotten to a save point, a physical hard save point. And if something goes wrong, you have to go back to wherever you saved last, which is something that did happen to me in just the first few hours of playing this game. Nocturne is still very difficult. It can still have those moments of sheer luck depending on an enemy encounter. One thing that must be also noted in comparison to, say, a Persona game is the fact that enemies are not on screen. They are old school random battles that will happen at any time without any indication other than the little icon at the bottom of the screen that glows more red when you're potentially about to be attacked. One of the key things that must be noted about the battle system beyond your team is the fact that weaknesses that are seen in the Persona games are a big deal in this game. And if you're able to strike that weakness on an enemy, it will allow you to get even more attacks in during that round. Buffs and debuffs are a big deal in the SMT games. Trying to lower the defense of an enemy while raising your attack, or ensuring that moments of ailments don't inflict your entire party, is detrimental to survival when it comes to SMT games, specifically Nocturne, that you don't necessarily have to think that much about in the Persona games. You have to learn about buffing and debuffing and utilizing it to the best of your abilities in a fight. One of the best things about buffing and debuffing in this game is the fact you can stack those buffs, you can stack those debuffs, and they don't go away from a time limit or a round limit. They only go away once the fight is over, or that party member has fallen, or an enemy or adversary utilizes a spell to nullify said buff or debuff. Another thing that is similar to the Persona games, that more in line with Persona 4 than Persona 5, is the ability to fuse demons to make other demons. Now, the reason that it's more similar to Persona 4 than 5 is that there are actually world conditions that can change the outcome of a fusion in SMT Nocturne. And that is all correlated to the moon. Depending on what kind of moon there is at that time, can dictate some of the abilities, some of the bonuses, some of the pluses, some of the negatives that can come with a fusion. So you have to be mindful, very similar to when you had the ability to fuse Persona and Persona 4, depending on the conditions of the weather, that will present you better opportunities to fuse these demons. From a technical aspect, Nocturne is a better looking version of the PS2 version. And really that's about it. The frame rate is capped at 30 FPS. The stability has always been good. I rarely had any problems with the original, and that's still the same here. The sound design, the overall aesthetic is very old school, but it all works. And really there's nothing to complain about from a technical aspect other than the fact that it doesn't have some of the features that you've seen in other HD remasters of RPGs from that era. Overall, if you enjoy old school JRPGs and don't come into this with the mindset of, oh, this is just a darker version of a Persona game, then you will walk away very much happy with the overall experience. This is old school as it gets, with a modern, more demonic twist. But for those coming in with the hope that you're going to experience this in the same way that you did when you played your first Persona game, you will be slightly, if not terribly, disappointed. And it will make you rue the day of old school RPGs, because this is very much not the most hold-handing experience that you can have. Especially in one particular dungeon that you have to encounter several times, that will be like a maze that will force you to utilize items and potentially push you to your brink before you die and have to restart all over again. So there you have it. This has been Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, once again with another video game first impressions. Shin Megami Tensei III Nocturne HD Remaster for the PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Now, if you don't mind, I'm about to encounter a very loudmouth shark that is threatening to kill me and my pixie. But this shark doesn't understand just how hard I can hit, and once I punch him on the nose several times, he will have no choice but to say, "Oh lordy."